Hi, everybody. My name is Lauretta, Webb, and you'll learn that I've been around this industry for a long time, super long, over 30 years. I know, and this is the first time I've ever done a safety seminar. And a big part of the reason was because I was always in other seminars, but just so you know. Okay. Oh, excuse me. That's right. You ever notice, those of you, just go ahead and ask me, that as you get older, your give a crap that what you look like goes way down. It really becomes not almost rumors, but so it's beautiful necklace that it just bothers me, so I put it on for y'all. But lipstick, which I rarely wear. Okay, here we go. Pilots, people, this name. First of all, more about me. So, I am not a pilot. Everyone, so you're clear, I am an advocate and an ally in aviation, particularly aviation safety. Okay? How I got here was I worked for a printing company, high-end printing company, Fort Worth, Texas, when I was a young adult, doing customer service. And back in the day, there wasn't customer service. They let salesmen in the shop, and then they had some pretty ugly fights between the press and who were German, salesperson who were salespeople. So they brought customer services, and since it was brand new, they made me learn everything. I spent days in the pre-press, and days in the press room, days in the bindery, and days counting paper, and the whole 9 yards. So I know a lot about printing if you're moved back to Maryland, had a kid, blah, blah, blah. I needed a job. Got a part-time job with my baby, Hal, printing. Ready to go to work full-time. AOPA has a thing at the local community college. Write mail, envelopes, stuff you get in the mail, junk, printing. I'm talking about, all right. Threw it in my resume. 3 months later, I get a call, but I went. Hardcore interview, left, really good. Next interview, great. You're fired. They're going to her office. I never worked, but there was a marketing position. I never worked in marketing. But I had a degree, she said, well, it's because you knew what a blue line is. And anybody who's been in the printing industry knows anything about printing. That was an early process, and there was other things I knew that got me the job. And it turned out that that was a catalyst to get me into aviation, which sucked. So I was there for 7 years and worked both in the membership marketing department and the products and services marketing department. And if you know, associations provide information, education, products, networking, so on and so forth. Of course, back in the day, products were on paper, but they were always, in every association, focused on the needs of their members, right? So aviation insurance. And I got into it, I loved it. But I got ready to leave. Okay, enough of this, high pressure. And when I was there, Bill Boyer had come 6 months after I did. He was really good. He'd come in from Chicago, New York, and we walked into Podunk, Frederick, Maryland, because that's what it is, and turned this place into a real business. And it was just a fantastic experience. It was a lot of work. So as a man on the go, I went to work for a printing company. And after about 6 months of that, I'm like, been there, done that, and Webb was hired. Oh, and incidentally, they wanted me to learn how to fly 2 little light instructor gravity air safety foundation short, 9,000 hours GA flying time. Second lesson, no ground, stall. When the airplane did this, that's when they got on fire. Just so you know, if you're a flight instructor here, be sensitive to your students, because had that gentleman said to me, who was a dear friend, here's what's going to happen. It's going to be like slipping on ice, okay? Just don't put on the brake, right? And you'll straighten out. Don't turn the steering wheel, whatever it is. Okay, didn't do it. So 2 more lessons not standard. So that's why I'm not a pilot, okay? Just so you know. Avenco got acquired and they moved their offices to a national headquarters. Already was in Frederick, Maryland, and so they had a huge hiring blitz. So I said, well, what the heck? You know, they had a team lead position or whatever. So I called the end and I had an 8-hour interview. 8. You would have an 8-hour oral. If you're a flight instructor, you might have an 8-hour oral. So you think about that, an 8-hour job interview. Okay. But they were asking me questions to pull out of me things I knew, right? And of course I learned a lot of lingo, okay, right? I mean, it's a language in and of itself, it's a foreign language. I know 2 languages, right? We all do. And then I had learned insurance, which I had gotten keen on, because aircraft insurance, while it's basically a private passenger vehicle insurance, it's a vehicle insurance, is way different, right? Because it's a vehicle that doesn't pick us up in the air, right? So fender benders are really rare unless they hit a volcano, which they did. That's why. So I got that job. And it ended up being just the most incredible experience of my life. Absolutely incredible. And I was promoted to director, and then I got promoted to assistant vice president, and vice president, and it was all pieced together for these years I had to do. And it's all about what all y'all taught me, because I'm not a pilot, I'm not going to read the FARs, I'm not going to do it. Okay? There's no reason to, but I learned a lot. It got me a really sweet job, a career maker for me. Then I said, okay, that's it. I got laid off from and I was 55, so it was like everybody was like, and I was like, you know what, it's good. They gave me a decent severance because of my commitment to the organization. They didn't replace me, it was a real layoff. But so I decided to get a master's degree, and I was going to change industries, and I'm going to be, one of those. You don't ever have to stop learning. I'm going to get my master's degree before I'm 60, right? And they have to. I'll be honest with you. Don't get a master's degree in psych unless you're ready to read some stuff that you do not want to read the FAR. Okay. But nevertheless, I did. While I was there, I got recruited by a guy I bought advertising from for Avenco, the National Association of Flight. And that's the rest of the story. So I learned about pilots, right? I learned about airplanes, and I learned about flight insurance. Well, when I was at Avenco, I also learned about four accidents. Things that don't get out anymore because the claim adjuster needs the daughter and the son, the granddaughter, the best friend, the parent of the people that died in a fire crash. So it got me super interested in aviation safety because insurance knew things that the NTSB didn't know. Because it wasn't relevant, right? It's not relevant. So I got really into it. We started to support the WINGS program. I got all into that. I'll give you more information about that later. Then I met this gentleman who asked me to join him on the WINGS Industry Advisory Committee, did did a survey, why isn't everybody taking the wings program? Everybody should take the wings program. If you take the wings program, you will be safer, there's evidence, blah, blah, blah. Insurance companies give you a discount, and everyone, I don't know, this may surprise you, insurance companies don't give away money, right? If you get a discount, it's because they're gonna make more money, okay? They're not gonna, so if you take a wings course, have a wings space, you're getting a huge gift from the insurance company. But there's all kinds of other problems with it, we'll get into that later. And then the wings industry advisory committee decided to do a sweepstakes, maybe you've heard that, blah, 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 the entire process. All right, wings, GXAD, y'all get it. So the outcome is I've been to, this is my 29th AirVenture, I went to 26 unfunds, 9 AOPA expos, or clients, 5 expos, and the expos transitioned to the clients. Pre-limited aviation, and I actually got the chance to go to the National Business Aviation Association, and just so you know, in case you're not an owner of a jet, you can buy gold-plated seatbelts, just so you know. In case you're worried. I came, the ultimate day I came out, which was a personal charge, to see if I could be at the forefront of reducing fatalities and serious severe life-altering injuries. Just so you know, my first AirVenture, the Concorde was here. And I didn't know what it was, because I didn't care, I didn't need to know. And that bad boy flew, so that AOPA's tent was right up there. And that thing did a flyby at about 300 feet. It's like a nuclear bomb going up this so I'll never know. Wow, what an experience. A friend of mine found this picture online, and this is a time photographer just sat there all day long, 3 or 4 days, and watched all the airplanes come in and land. That's what's happening here every single solitary year. Think about that. And maybe some of y'all's airplanes are in there. Is that not the best? Wow, I love that picture. Maybe once it was on Facebook. So, a little bit about my personal background is, I've been involved in this. I take my daughters, bring your daughter to work day, where do they go to? You see the Maryland State Police helicopter. They get headsets put on their heads and sit in airplanes, and they get in paper airplanes and all this kind of stuff. So you've got around aviation their whole life, and that's the way it is. But I don't want them to be pilots. Learn too much. And they didn't either. They were early girls and they wanted to dance and sing, nice cake, and I was A-OK, because I had seen enough. Well, my oldest daughter gets married. Guess who became a pilot after they got married? My daughter, my son-in-law, and Lucy, the 150, right? You know her. Oh, you know Lucy. Come on. 150G, 1960, whatever. She's pregnant there. This picture my son-in-law took in that airplane at 11,000 feet. Is that too high for that airplane to fly? I heard it wasn't. I asked Brian Schiff, did he get on there? He said, it's all right. Okay. His breath was freezing, because that's how it is. So I'm like, okay, you're into this. It was a Pacific Northwest. Now get this. My first grandchild, she was 6 months old. When I saw that picture, last year I worked with the General Aviation Awards program, and last year one of the honorees who was giving their acceptance speech for their award talked about how a door in this 150 popped open. Okay? And after I heard that, all I could think about, because she was sitting on her mom's lap, but she didn't have a seatbelt on, flipped out. I know some people in this business, I've gotten to know people in this business. business has been very fortunate, so I'm running over to Tom Turner. He's the executive director of the Air Safety Institute of the Nancy Pilots Association. He told me, like all of you, I want to tell you, there's no way that door would open. It's flying straight level because the wind would keep it shut. Anyway, so this is my reality now that I didn't want. During my base work, working on trying to find ways to get pilots involved, I came across this picture. And this was a big office, and this was in the mountains. Like, really? Okay, so here's how I got here. At AirVenture, you come here, you come here at any time you do, and I just wanted to show you that one year I got completely fixated, 100% fixated on propellers. Oh my God. Anybody know what this propeller is? It's a DC-3. Yeah? No? Parts? That's all I know. It was outside their display. And that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. This one of this year's honorees was a balloon guy. And they don't have propellers, but they have some other cool stuff like fire. So, balloon, fire, and then another privilege in this business. One of many pictures of me and John. True privilege. All right, now, what are we going to talk about? We're going to look at some reports, we're going to discuss some available resources, not in this order. What it means to be a pilot, what it means to be a person. We're looking at some accidents, and we're about the ways where I can see it. So, just to kind of give a framework of what happened to me a minute ago, it's a lot of words. Basically, the first one is about a Nancy pilot who bought a new Nancy, got checked out by his flight instructor, who was super excited, and so after about 6 or 7 lessons, the flight instructor said, hey, you want to see something this airplane does? And he spun, he did one of these upside down, come back around, upside down. He goes to some fun, he packs his kids in the plane and his wife and his brother-in-law, whatever. I said, let me show you what I learned from my CMI. I'm sure you can guess the rest of that story. Twins were 9 years old. Family takes a flight in the mountains. Mom, dad, brother-in-law, and 3-year-old. I don't know if they didn't have a mountain training. I don't know. But I do know that if you take a lot of mountain training, you get an insurance discount. So I know there's something about it. They were flying along, didn't see, had a seat that they lived, they were climbing out the airplane. Another judgment call. They climbed out first and then went to grab the 3-year-old when the plane slipped and fell down in 5,000 feet. These are true stories, just so you know. We're taking a flight, they're retired, recently IFR. They flew into IFR conditions and they didn't. The pilot, the husband, wasn't sure. There was a couple things he wasn't sure about, but his ego, taking care of his wife or whatever, or my intent to take care of my wife, he didn't ask her even though she had just gotten her IFR training. So they didn't talk to each other, and the wife said, well, I'm not going to minimize my husband's knowledge, right? So I'm not going to say anything. And they went in something fierce. They lost control. And the worst part of this, that you don't get in the NTSB report, was the children had to identify them by their wedding rings. So it's this business of if you get stuck in a really bad storm in your car, you might get stuck in a web, you might even flip up on your side, but you're not going to disintegrate.
Or this CFIT? What's that?
Stay where?
CFIT.
CFIT. Oh, it's controlled flight into terrain.
Oh.
Controlled flight into terrain. Alright. So, when I got to thinking about this, I thought, what does it take to be a pilot? You know, I've been launching all these years, and the more I learn, the more I know why I'm not a pilot, not just because somebody scared me and I'm a little unsafe to, right? And I don't have to read this list. Y'all know aeronautics, weather, engines, landing gear, fuel, performance, bars, gauges, avionics, navigation, weight valves, and the list goes on. And of course, in GA, you are the dispatcher, you're the weight valves calculator, you know, and you're the chief pilot, right? You're the captain. So to be a pilot, you gotta be really on your game. You gotta be intelligent, tenacious, focused, you gotta be patient, you have courage, you need to be determined. You gotta think both linear and horizontal, right? Lift, drag, yaw, sharp peripheral vision. That was a real trick for me. I'm like, look over to the left. You know, you don't need to turn your head. You see that? And I'm like, see what? You know, this whole charts thing, or flight, whatever, radio, fancy terms. Romeo X-ray, Romeo X-ray, right? You gotta know. And then here's the one. So I vow to all of you, because it is a big deal, and it's been my privilege, beyond imagination, to get to know so many of you. They're just incredible. And so when I was thinking about this and having a master's degree and everything, I thought, well, what are some of the hazards? And of course, everybody's like hazardous attitudes, human factors, you know, all this kind of stuff. So, you know, pave, unsafe, all those different things, and that's all great. It's all great. I mean, when I was looking at these biases, hundreds of articles about bias and the risk it takes and is to pilots, okay? But I just thought, well, I'm a person, and I learned in school and pounded my brain, I read all these peer-reviewed journal articles, that these things can really affect your way of thinking. They really can. And a lot of them built in, you know, the name, or they're intrinsic, you know, we learn them growing up, mom and dad, blah, blah, blah. And so, my feeling about this is that it's an opportunity to look at yourself, right? Is to pull yourself out of yourself and look at yourself, you know, from the skyline, you know, or up on the deck, and just kind of look at that person. Not think of them as yourself. Think of them as that person out there, you know, and then observe that person, observe that individual, okay? And then look for clues, right, of this. And so I looked these up, and then I found examples, and I do have the references if anyone wants it. So confirmation bias, right? It's you listen more often to information that confirms an existing belief, right? And this is a problem, you know, with other types of biases, you know, underprivileged racism, sexism. It's a serious problem because this can happen while you're flying. Here's one that I found: a pilot desperately used to make a trip, decides, oh, it doesn't look that bad, or it seems like it's improving, and these are all from previous experience. It looks like it's better, just use it here. And the person doesn't access any other information to negate it because he was confirmed by whatever it was he was looking at, right? I mean, this is, again, these are things I pull up on. So, confirmation bias, my understanding is that it's very dangerous. The article, as you go into it, is really something that pilots have to be careful of. Get their ass right. So, an aggregate bias is when you make decisions based on provided reference. For example, if you're given a baseline, a certain amount of fuel is required, this number will be utilized in determining requirements, regardless of whether operational needs might require more or less. So if you fly to Webb and you need more fuel, I don't know. All I know is I've heard something about this, that Evenco did a whole complete seminar on fuel. And so it's anchored. That's what the fuel needs are. I'm not worried about it. I'll make sure I just have that many needs. And you don't think beyond it. Anchoring bias. Heuristic is a little word, right? If I didn't get a master's degree, I wouldn't know what the hell it means. Okay? And I'm not afraid to tell you now that I think it's an education term, like learning shit. So what you do is you estimate the probability of something happening to you based on examples that readily come to mind, availability, right? It could be similar to the anchoring bias or confirmation bias, right? So what can happen is it can lead to incorrect assessment of risk because you're thinking back on the last 10 years, with some events being attributed to more risk than they should, keeping you from focusing on other things, right? Or others that are not enough, right? You don't put enough attention. Optimism bias. Overestimating the likelihood of good things happening while underestimating the probability of something bad happens, right? You know, I'm a good person, I give to the church, I give to the highway, I volunteer to the rescue mission, you know, I raise great kids, I pay my bills, you know, all this stuff. I'm doing pretty good. And if something bad happens, it's total shock, and it is more devastating, right, than what otherwise happened. So this is common. Pilots have seen many bad situations turn out okay. John Martin King experience is a very, very difficult teacher, right? Because if you base your flight decisions on your experience, you may make a decision based on a very optimistic view of reality. Make sense? So I'm sorry to keep going through this, but I have a point, right? So recency bias is a bias that favors recent events over historic ones. Now, there's some overlay, right? But this is considered memory bias. And in this situation, the pilot's faced with a normal engine parameters responses. Diagnosed it incorrectly because of something that recently happened, right? So instead of fully examining that event individually and independently from anything else past, present, or future, they're going to go, oh, this happened past, it's going to be fine, right? It's going to be fine because this recently happened to me 5 or 6 times. I don't have to unpack it, okay? Now, what you can see here is the Aircraft Owners and Pilot Association Air Safety Institute. They have a program called Reality Check that Richard McSpadden taught. Now, does everybody know what happened to Richard McSpadden? The executive director of the Air Safety Institute. Well, he went in, okay, and we'll talk more about that. Apparently, this normalization of aviation bias is a big deal. I found 3 articles specifically for aviation. And what it is here's the bar of the way you're supposed to do it. Right? Well, you get like this, everything's fine. All of a sudden, comes the bar. Right? Over and over again. And this, I would say, on all these things, is probably one of the most dangerous things that you can do. Honest to God. Just be freaking fair with you. You're pushing the checklist. You're pushing the performance. You're pushing the weight balance. You're pushing the fuel. And you know,
Oh, it's okay.
no.
It's not.
So now I'm going to show you some statistics that I had to learn, okay? And only makes it worse. So you don't want to be mean. Well, everybody wants to be mean, but that's another story. Okay, so this is a report the NTSB puts out every year. And I just wish I had a clearer info on it. So you have your 121 scheduled, unscheduled, you've got your 135, and then you've got your general aviation. And I don't think it's hard to notice the size difference of those numbers, right? I mean, I really need you to focus on that. Because every time I see it, it stuns me. What is it we're not learning from these other things? What is it? Is it our biases? Is it our white shirt? You know what I mean? It's like, damn it. So, this is a chart that I only just found because of this presentation. And there's no other report that shows serious injuries. And at an insurance company, we had a liability claim from a woman who got severe brain damage and had become a quadriplegic. Her brain was, so we don't hear about that. We just think that the guy really lived, right? So I was stunned to find this. And of course, it's a beautiful thing that says 2000. I mean, look at this. This is unbelievable work that we've done to reduce accidents. But look how the slope is changing. This is 20 years. Okay? What? The heck? Oh, y'all, we're smart. We know things. We had to kill ourselves to get our license. We gotta get a flight review. We gotta do this. We gotta do that. So, and I'm just sharing this with you guys. This is available in the public. I think people should look at it more often, but that's another story. So, Richard Fitzpatrick goes in. We'll talk about this more. There's this thing called the Null Report. A lot of people who know AOPA and our Safety Institute know about the Null Report. After he was killed, they changed it to the Richard G. Fitzpatrick Report. And so AOPA puts out this report. So, I'll give y'all a secret. You know how it says every 100,000 hours alone, I don't know if you've ever heard that, but you say the accident rate, and it's the number of accidents compared to the number of hours every 100,000 hours alone. Well, GA does not have to report how many hours it flies. You don't, but all those other dudes, they have to. They're being tracked, they're dispatched from here to there, however many hours they fly. So it's accurate. So going back to this, right? Plug it. Accurate. I don't know. Right? But the way they find out is they do a survey of Part 135 and 91 aircraft owners, and they use that to find out the hours of general aviation flight. And I've talked to people that know, and it has been a concern for many years. So hard to come up with another way, though. You don't want to have to go to some database and tell how many hours you flew, although it would be very helpful, you know, because if we give us the truth, the real number, that this is what we have. So I like to do it by the numbers. So we have the same issue here, right? And look at 2020. You had that many less accidents, but we were still dropping. And there were fewer airplanes in the air. What the heck? This is almost impossible to read, and I know you guys don't need this. But what really kills me is how many resources are available, right? To all of you, the majority of which is free. And it's taught by some of the industry leaders in safety, avionics. They all do it for free. Or if you want, you can go to King's, Sporties, ASA, Line, and 100 other sources and buy stuff. Buy stuff. But you know, you got the safety team, associations, universities, colleges. You got organizations like Social Life and private workshops. Regional level training providers, some free, some cost, type clubs, state and local associations give seminars, aircraft manufacturers, and pilot, you know, like I said, they all do seminars for free. FBOs, a lot of FBOs have monthly seminars. Sim centers, you know, you go in and buy yourself an hour of sim time with the flight instructor. Trade shows, seminars, talks, forums. Magazines, newsletters, newspapers, books, blogs, nonprofits, videos, links, courses, insurance companies. I know because that's how I know this works. Just regular people, which is what I am now, just regular people. Celebrities, ordering aviators, they all do. I mean, social media influencers, discussion groups, blah, blah, blah. And it's accessible by everyone. All 600,000 people that are here at this show. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Okay. All right. All right. Richard was having a friend of mine, and he became a friend because as a member of staff at AOPA. AOPA is a hard-running organization. It really is. And the leaders there, you know, you have to be careful about the big shot in the corner office. You do, especially. Sometimes that's how you turn businesses around. But this guy, he was a consummate gentleman. Consummate gentleman. He would always take my calls. He would always, if I said, office and interview, this was right here where I live, absolutely. And he would tell you like it is. He didn't try to dance around it or make you feel like, you know, the little lady, you know. So it meant a lot to me. And I worked with him on some of my news programs. This is him, right? And this is where the runway behind you comes to. Because the impossible turn, everybody familiar with the impossible turn? Yeah, okay. And there's some flight instructors and pundits and so forth in the industry say it's not possible to make the turn back to the airport when you have engine failure or something like that. And then there's a group of people that think it is possible, right? And the ones that you pay attention, and I'm very fortunate, been so privileged. Brian Schiff did a presentation for NAFI, and in the very beginning, he said, look, when the aircraft is in distress, you're taking off and you know it, you see it, or power stops or whatever, you look at all your options right away. You scan instantly. And there is no option other than trying to get back to the runway. That is what you do. So it's just about options, right? And as aviators, going back to that crazy ass list of what you need to know as pilots, I mean, come on. You do want to try to save your life and the life of your passengers. Jeez. So on October 1st, 2023, he had an engine out. He was flying with some football star who was in his 70s. Lake Placid. So the preliminary NTSB said that there was a witness there that heard the engine turn off, but then about 10 seconds later it restarted. Okay? So when I wanted to learn about this, I did internet searches, that's what I did. And I found a YouTube from this fellow, Malcolm, my real weirdo, but he seemed to know his stuff. And he said, lead, bromide, shavings and carbon causing one of the cylinders not to operate. You know, maybe, I don't know. But I have to think he was out there for a photo shoot with this fellow, and the AOPA airplane ahead of him, the inside, had a photographer in it. And so the photographer took off, and then right after they took off, they got about 400 before this happened. You know, so they were going to go up and have beautiful pictures taken, and the NFL star, you know, turned pilot, aircraft owner, FBO owner. I'm sure it would have been a cool article, right? I mean, a very cool article, because we all get excited when our heroes, whatever they may be, whether they be athletes or whatever, you know, get into aviation. We love that. So we feel like they have a better sense of who we are, right? So I gotta wonder, you know, could their mission focus for someone like Richard McSpadden, who, let me go back here, was a colonel, the captain of the Thunderbirds, and landed a sweet job at AOPA or something. Could it have affected his judgment? Someone like him? Could there have been other biases at play here? Well, did he think, back a couple of years ago, I taught this seminar about the impossible turn. And what he did was that they looked at 3 different airplane models, because they were trying to deal with this no, yes thing. And 2 of them worked, 1 of them didn't. It was Bonanza and Olympia. It was just, and 2 years may seem like a long time, but it was a lot of work, because they took off the airplanes, they turned off the airplanes, they videoed it, they had inside the plane, outside the plane, on the airport, you know what I mean? It's a big deal. So, did he think, oh, this sucks, I don't like it, but I'm just going to go back? Well, when he went back, runaway here, bang, and they didn't hit, right? They hit the bank, and they were alive. They hit the bank, struggling to get out, right? So they rocked the plane fell down, all the way behind the bank, and killed them both. So, was there a recency bias at play here? Was there a normalization, deviation bias here? He was not an arrogant man. I'm here to tell you right now, he got it. The last thing I heard was there was other options. There were other options for him to take that airplane. But he did the impossible turn. So one of my best friends of all time, and a billionaire who has donated $1 million on his own money to this industry, gave $550,000 to AOPA, and continued to give up about another $500,000 in various ways to give, and it happened because of the seaplane accident in Freaking Block I remember about. Now this is not the picture, but it's a cinema. So they're all having a big party, and their group of friends are all on family, right? One of the members of this family tribe was a seaplane owner, and everybody wanted to go for rides. Seaplanes want to go for rides, take off the water, land in the water, ooh, baby. So I think it was his niece or something. I forget. Two of his very best friends, young adults, just graduated from Cornell. I'll go. Well, then somebody else raised their hand. I'll go. So he took, these 3 people in this airplane took off from Long Island. So I'm going to take you up to Long Island and then bring you back because it's going to be super cold, pretty, you know, I don't know right here. Well, to keep it from being too long a story, he tried again. Finally, on one of his landings, after the 3rd botched landing, he was too close to the shore. The rocks, he could go this way, had to go this way, when he went that way, he had the electric wires, which took, and as he was going down, he took off the roof of one of those gas stations, you know, we have this, like a big truck killed somebody on the ground, and then crashed into, praise God, an empty restaurant, and exploded on contact. What a crappy way to lose these young adults. And it was like 20 for 8 minutes. So what was this guy thinking? He overloaded the airplane. He clearly didn't have the experience that he needed. What was going on? There had to be some kind of, maybe an egocentric, I guess considers one. But anyway, this is just, you know, from my experience files. And this accident was how I got the most passion in Negroes because I knew this guy. You know, he was a friend. So when I did this for just a small little gang, and you know, does anybody have any ideas about what we can do here? What do you think? About this notion of the accident rate, all the resources that are available, right? All the stuff that you guys have to know. Okay, so I have one idea because a lot of people can't figure this stuff make any sense. That's the problem, you know. It doesn't make any sense. I only have one idea, which is probably not possible, but I feel like, despite the one story, that if every pilot had an IFR rating, that we would see safer skies. That's what I believe. Okay? And so I think we ought to come up with a way to incentivize flight instructors or students to seek or give this training by having fun. And you know, if you do these 3 things, you'll get a scholarship. You know, won't make it that difficult. That's one thing I think. And of course, the other thing is look at your friends and pilots and be brave. It's hard to do. If you see something doing something stupid, say, you know, there's a wings class that you might be interested in. Don't tell them they're doing it wrong, okay? That shuts down conversations. Don't give them a look, okay? See what they're doing and say, hey, I took this wings class the other day. And I think you know what, you might even have something to offer. You know. And then they take a wings course and they learn and they see it right in front of their face. Maybe they won't practice. Yes, sir.
I personally think a lot has changed over the last 30, 40 years,
Yes.
especially in the last 10 to 15
Yes.
years. From the 90s to the 2000s, 2000 to the 2010.
Absolutely.
There was a huge change for all those people who were licensed before that. It's a good idea to refresh. I work for an airline now, and a lot of captains say, I need to go get my private jet. So I am not going to get so many years.
Right.
Am I licensed to do it?
Yes.
Am I proficient to do it? No.
See, that's an excellent point. And the thing about that that's important is that you're being honest with yourself. You're a CFI because you want to go to the airlines. You don't want to lose your CFI, so you do your FER, right? Which you do online, you know. And then you're 65 and you have to retire from the airlines. And you think you could just go out and be a flight instructor. Well, you keep taking perks and all that stuff. It'd be interesting to unpack some of those flight instructor accidents to see about this notion of being honest with yourself, right? Of looking at yourself as another person. Loretta's sitting in that chair, and I'm looking at that person. It just so happens to be me, but I'm not going to think of it as me. I'm going to think of her, and look at her, and consider her behaviors, biases, and so on and so on. And then when I do that, and I have done it many times because I'm a little bit on the edge kind of person, I learn something about that person. Holy crap. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's, oh shit, I need to take a step. Right? Yes. Alright, quick plug for the WAITS program. The artists that work for me at AirVenture design these WAITS pins, and I was one that had been, did them out, how to manufacture them. The team at AirVenture worked with the team at the FAST team to come up with the pipe. Feature with viewing space, your data by permission. You check the box, comes to AirVenture, and AirVenture boxes it up, puts a little note in there, and says you're welcome. So I just want you to know. The Easy Wings program was developed by an organization that I helped found. There were 4 of us, the Wings Industry Network. Why aren't people taking wings? Why aren't people taking wings? Why aren't people taking wings? Well, you know why people aren't taking wings? In about 40% of the cases, because they open up the website and say, ain't no way. I'm not doing it. Not the personality of an aviator. You open that web page, and it's got like 16 tiles. And the friction is uncanny. It's ridiculous. So, I give most of the credit to the others, but okay, so we all worked on this. This is an app that once you log into your account on FAAsafety.gov, you can go directly to the various locations that you want to go, right? You want to request a credit as a pilot, you send it for another credit for my flight review that I got on my airplane. Takes you directly to that syllabus and a place to request a flight instructor validator. That's it. Same with the validator. I want to validate for my student who I just gave a flight review to, this airplane doesn't have to look for the syllabus. Okay? It's getting a lot of, I mean, I'm retired from my work, I kind of, retired from a lot of different things because I want to do this now. But I'm here to tell you that it's getting improved all the time. So there's my references, and everybody knows what this is. Isn't that great? A friend of mine took that picture. Really? All right, so we got about 8 minutes. I know a little bit about insurance. Anybody have any insurance questions I can answer? Named pilots, hours required, aircraft configurations.
No.
Good. Damn.
I don't want to.
No, go ahead.
I don't own an airplane yet. Let's say if I bought one and I wanted to let my daughter fly,
Right.
teach my daughter.
Right.
How would that work?
Okay, so you would get your aircraft insured, you would name your daughter on the policy, right? And the policy is rated by the lowest experienced pilot, okay? So the lowest experienced pilot, higher rate, all right? And as an instructor, you get instructed your own plane at an FO, I'm sure it's everywhere else. And by a particular type of insurance that has like a little rider on it that protects you as a flight instructor. So you're the owner, you're the flight instructor, she's the student, she's getting on the plane, so she's protected. But, yeah.
Okay. We get the insurance, like the rental insurance, not renting somebody else's plane, not borrowing somebody else's plane.
If you borrow someone else's plane, you want to get renter's insurance. Because renter insurance is actually renters, borrowers, be certain.
Because I'm over there.
Right. You just want to have it as cheap as seriously. Buy your members insurance. If you think you're going to borrow somebody's money, and they should put it, and if you're going to borrow it often, put name you on policy too. Just in case. You know, if you're not going to, and if you change the rate, pay it. You know? Because everybody wants to be protected, wants to say you're covered.
What's a good place to get?
Well, you know, that's where I'm not a licensed insurance agent anymore.
Off the record.
Okay, all right. Well, the thing about it is Venco's a direct writer like Geico. They're the only direct writers, so that means you call them, they underwrite your policy, they write your policy, they deliver your policy, and they work with the claims adjuster process. If you, all the rest of the insurance carriers, Star and Assured Partners and AIG and all the other insurance, Global, they all write insurance for airplanes, but they're sold through brokers. And so when you buy something through a broker, that's a relationship. Okay? So I suggest checking out different brokers that you get along with, that you trust. Kind of like me getting hired at Venco, right? I knew the language. Make sure that this person, so call a couple brokers, you know. You know, there's some really, really great ones out there. Ask my buddies, you know. And they'll know the right insurance company to fit your profile, airplane pilot profile. Hangar everything, okay? Did you have a question? Yes, sir.
Where is that app? I can't find it on the app.
Oh, it's actually not yet an app because that's very, very expensive to do. And we didn't get enough funding. It's nonprofit. So what you do is you put it in easywings.net, and then you create a shortcut on your phone, and then it shows up as a shortcut, and it works just like an app, 100%. Okay. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Sir.
Renters insurance right now are not owned.
Yeah.
Do most of the companies, including AirVenture, also offer members insurance as well as non-members insurance?
Yes, sir. Yeah, they do. Yeah. It's, you know, and there's various places you can get renter's insurance too, but that's a pretty competitive product. What Venco offers is most non-owned policies are blended, you know, with the pool, and so it says I'll insure you in a single, and a multi, and an experiment, or whatever. Then the price is one price based on the pool of, you know, loss ratio of all those airplanes. Some insurance companies will say, if you're going to fly in a single, then you're going to pay insurance for a single. If you're going to fly in a mobile, you're going to pay insurance for flying home. It's going to cost you more. That kind of thing. But yeah, there's a lot. There's everybody else. Yes, sir.
So my assumption is that some sort of correlation between lack of proficiency and accidents and health. But that's just is there a strong correlation? Is it like
100%.
Okay.
Beyond anything I can express. Proficiency, it's like one of the people that sponsored us, he was somebody that, you know, stood by us, said that what doesn't exist in industry is this notion of being a lifelong learner. I want to learn my whole life. He's kind of weird. He's like an ecosystem that we don't really have here because we are independent people, right? But there is no doubt if you fly more with care, right? Don't deviate. You know, watch out for your recent events. You'll be a safer pilot, and you'll save money on your insurance and everything. Yes, sir.
What do you think drives the change in premiums and requirements? Is it a 3-year accident history, or is it more the economy?
No, it's two things. So the thing is about, yes, sir. The thing about insurance is it's, you know, priced based on what happened in the past and a prediction based on what's going to happen in the future, right? Okay? And so to do that accurately, you'll see your questionnaire. And yeah, it's like 3 years. And they've studied the living crap out of it because insurance companies don't give away money, okay? They know what they need to know to decide how much they want to charge you for your insurance, okay? And so, like I said, keeping your record clean, you know, and all the different things that you can afford to do with the money, you know, all those different things. And just pay attention to the airplane. And also, when you're insuring, you'll buy it. Let's talk about a 210. It's a pretty popular airplane, and it's a sweet little airplane. But 210s, it turns out, it's very difficult to find parts for the gear. Now, how do you get those? And when you go to buy it, oh, be careful, you're not going to have a lot of parts in there. And so when you call the insurance company to get a quote, they say it's this, and you go, why? This airplane is a docile. Yeah, it's a little hard to buy. It's because you can't find parts. So be sure, if you're buying an airplane, tell them to tell you everything about that airplane that they know. Because they're going to know things you don't know. Okay? Yes, sir.
As far as I know, Mexico is one of the best for pilots that are aging.
Yes, sir.
Do they have a blanket age, or how do they determine?
No, there's no age limit. Avemco will ensure they have for many years a man in his 90s. And the older you get, the more often you have to pass your medical. That's basically it. And of course, the price is going to go up, but it's predicting, looking at the past to predict the future. But that's why the Avemco's, I'm telling you, those underwriters are just freaking unbelievable human beings. And that's why they do it, and it matters to them. So yeah, the other insurance companies are not willing to take that on. They're just not. And you're going to pay more, but you will pay it so you can fly your airplane. Come on. Anything? Yes, sir.
Got just a minute left. Talk about the
General Aviation Awards Program, ladies and gentlemen. That's my new passion. This is a program that honors flight instructors, mechanics, and fast team representatives. Okay, and these folks are remarkable individuals, unbelievable. And what we're trying to do is get more people involved. So go to our website, generalaviationawards.com. Please look at it, think about it, because I bet you anything, everyone in this room knows someone who deserves to be recognized. And the people that win these awards are not doing what they do so that they can win awards, right? It's like when you get promoted at work, and you were doing the work, and they saw you doing it, right? And this today is 2024 like vaccine representative of the year, which is a full-on volunteer thing. Carrie Grant, real Carrie. Thank you, Carrie, for all the work you do in our business. Thank you for everything. Because this guy does stuff, as do the other winners, that make a difference. So, nominate a friend. Tell your friends it exists. If you know somebody. This award, did you have fun getting the award, sir?
Absolutely.
Did you get a free ride to Avemco or AirVenture?
Yes.
Did you get a lot of free food?
Yes.
Was the food good?
Excellent.
Just say it. All right, guys, thank you so much.